It's your boy Lionel, class of 2009, back with another episode of PV versus everybody. And listen, you see what it is, all right? You see what it is on the screen. You know what we got in the building tonight. All right, listen, another special guest, man. Listen, all June we've been running it up. All right, special guest after special guest, man. We got another special guest this evening, none other than Coach Ryan Burton, right, man? Listen, I'm excited to have this conversation tonight with Coach Burton. I'm excited for you, PV Nation, you know what I'm saying, to get a chance to see him, to talk to him. Before we do that, before I bring him up, y'all know we got to go through, you know what I'm saying, some preliminaries real quick. Because first and foremost, if you're not following us over on Instagram or on Twitter, you need to be following us over on Instagram and on Twitter. Listen, you need to follow us, all right? Go ahead over there. Listen, like and subscribe to the video as well if you haven't already. It just helps with YouTube. Go ahead and putting that out to others who need to join us over here as PV Nation, because the goal is 500 subs by the fall. We're making progress. All right, we're making progress. We got like 56. We got 56 more subs to go to get to 500 subscribers. So listen, if you aren't a subscriber, if you're here tonight and you aren't a subscriber, man, subscribe for the culture. You feel me? Just subscribe for the culture. All right. But if you've been enjoying yourself, enjoying the content we putting out, got a lot more stuff we're going to be doing, a lot more interviews we got lined up as well. So go ahead and subscribe to the channel, man, so that you can be notified of when we dropping this content. Now, I want to remind y'all, because I know you guys may have already forgot, because I know how Black people are. I know how y'all are. Okay. I am you. You are me and I am you. So I know y'all already done forgot that we dropped this strategic survey for the athletic department. Listen, AD Golf and all them in the athletic department want to hear your feedback, because I know you're probably saying, man, look, we need to do this. We need to implement this. This is an opportunity for us to let them know what we're looking for, what we need. All right. So if you have not yet filled out the strategic survey for the athletic department, go ahead and do that. You can really find it on any of the athletic platforms, right? Whether you're talking about golf page, football page, the equipment manager page, it don't matter, right? It's everywhere. They post it all different places, so you can find it and get access to it. Obviously, you can get it on the pvpanthers.com website too. But make sure you fill out this plan, because we need all of your ideas. We need to go ahead and put all this together, man, because it's going to make for a better experience for everyone in Panther Nation. So again, make sure you go ahead and fill out that survey. Also, listen, the goal this fall, 2K, all right? 2,000 season ticket holders. We know boys has already been getting it in. There's only 10 seats left available in section 107. All right, we call it Liddy on the 50. You know what I'm saying? So if you're trying to get Liddy on the 50, then listen, your opportunities are shrinking. All right, we got 10 seats available, 10 seats left. So if you got your ducats in order, go ahead over to the pvpanthers.com page, right? And go ahead, purchase those tickets. Listen, we're almost done selling out this section. All right, we got other sections available when this one sells out. But if you want to be on the 50, if you want to be on a 50-yard line, you know what I mean, be able to see all the action, your chances and your availability is starting to slip away from your fingers. So you need to go ahead and lock it in. And obviously, y'all already know the slate of games this year. Got TSU, you know what I'm saying, coming to the crib. Got Southern coming to the crib. Got Texas A&M Commerce coming to the crib. They say they're bringing folks for the homecoming too. They say they're going to be there. They're going to be eating the food All right, and they coming, they're gonna be in the stadium. So you need to be there. Also, fam coming, and also Alcorn, man. So Battle of the Purple and Gold. That game is always dope, man. So make sure y'all are there. Obviously, the season ticket price is $350 for 106, 107, and 108. Slide over $250, and obviously general admission is $150 for the year. Now, if you say I ain't gonna be at every game, it's okay. It's all right. You ain't got to be at every game. Listen, you ain't got to be at every game. We know we can get you in contact with some people, right? Some people in the community that we want to get out to the games, to want to get out to show, man, what is like, what's the game day experience like at Prairie View, right? So we can also start building this fan base in the community around. And so you can come to the games you can come to, then you can donate to the games you ain't gonna be at, right? So go ahead and get your season tickets together, man, and get out. But now, without further ado, I gotta call my brother to the state. Now I gotta call my brother because listen, I don't know if you know, but that 318 is strong in the building right now. That 318 is strong in the building. That Louisiana is strong in the building. I tell everybody in Texas, listen, we the spice over here. All right. So my man Ryan Burton, what's good, man? How you been?
Man, all is well, man. It's a blessing to be on here, man. I appreciate you for having me on here. Again, it's been a long time. I've been waiting. You finally hit me with the DM and the text, man. Let's make this thing happen, bro.
Oh man, I had to hit you up. Listen, because my 318 brother had to save him. You know what I mean? You got sometimes, we know how to cook in Louisiana, so you gotta let stuff simmer.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying? You gotta let stuff simmer for a while. So I was like, you know what? It's time, right? It's time to get my man on it. So I'm super excited. I know the nation is excited to have you on tonight. I see Zay in the comment. Play swing before kickoff, right? Somebody get this over. All right. To the March of Storm, let them know. Play swing before kickoff. All right. We ain't playing no games. That's the hashtag now. Anthony, appreciate you joining us too, man. Definitely y'all get the likes up, man. But first and foremost, man, I just want to say one thing that I saw that I thought was, dope, just, as I was kind of perusing around, right, and checking out things was, I'm like, man, my guy is from the 318 area. And then one question I always ask people is about, I had guys on, obviously, from Ohio recently. My man Dante Hunter, right, who's just transferring down. Obviously, we got a lot of kids from Texas. Man, tell us a little bit about Louisiana high school football, right? Because I know we're in big state of Texas, right? And everything big in Texas and all that, you know what I mean? But tell us a little bit about the Friday Night Lights in Louisiana, though.
Man, to be honest with you, it's second to none. Louisiana high school football is awesome. Got guys out there that can really play football. Well coached. You got guys from North Louisiana all the way down to South Louisiana. Those guys get it in. Those guys love to play football. They've been doing it for a while, been doing it for a long time. I know Texas is a little bit more advanced. Those guys been playing tackle football since Little League when they was very young. But I know guys from myself that's from Louisiana, we probably didn't start playing tackle football till probably about 6th grade, 7th grade. So a little bit late start. But again, we were always playing tackle football without the pads on. Throw the football in the air.
That's right.
Yeah, whoever catch it, take off and run it, so you don't get hit. So we call it Killer Man where I'm from.
Okay.
Yeah, Killer Man. If you catch the ball, you gonna get killed.
Hey, listen, that was one of the funnest games, right? You know what I'm saying? It's like you only need a ball right in the place, and sometimes in the streets playing, right? Just random grass fields. But hey, man, it make you tough. I ain't gonna lie, it make you tough. You know what I mean? Playing that, but yeah, man, I agree with that. Obviously, I'm from North Louisiana as well. Most people may not know Monroe, Louisiana. So for me, obviously, I'm in that same area. Me and my dad, I talk about all the time. I mean, we used to always go to Graham games, right? Always driving down to Alcorn, Lorman, and Jackson, and even Dallas, Texas, right, for the state fair. So I come from that area, you know what I mean? And so it's a lot of great guys that have come through there. And sometimes, you sleep on, some of these guys. But what I also say is, listen, there's a pipeline also from Louisiana to Texas that's even high school now at this point, right? You know what I mean? And some people don't recognize that. But I'm like, some of these guys who getting it in Texas actually came over here from the boot too. So let's, we're small population, but we do get it in. We do get it in. Right? So just talking a little bit, man, I know, talking about a little bit about where you're from, man. I know you're coming from the Ruston area. What was your experience like, first and foremost, playing high school ball up in North Louisiana? at Ruston right before you went off to college?
So Ruston is a well-known high school in Louisiana, one of the top high schools as far as football in Louisiana. Got many different state championships, many different players that played in the league, played college football. Again, some of our rivals was West Monroe, Ouachita, Nelville.
Yeah.
You name it, those games right there, you had sellout crowds. So Friday night when you playing against those type of 5A programs, and 5A in Louisiana is the biggest football of them all.
Right.
So when you playing that type of football in Louisiana, everybody's come out. It's a party on Friday night, 7:00 at somebody's stadium, whether it's Ruston, whether it's West Monroe, Nelville, Ouachita, wherever you name it. People coming out to watch football on Friday nights. It's like a holiday every week.
Nah, every week, man, it's getting it in. For you, I mean, what position did you play? And when did you fall in love with football? Right. That's a question we always ask, right? Like, when was the time that you fell in love with football? Was it on the parking lots, right? When you was just tossing the ball in the air? Was it when you was watching the game with your dad? Like, what made you fall in love with the game of football?
So growing up, Grambling, Louisiana, where Grambling State is, currently located, it's always been football. Football. Don't get me wrong. Grambling has a lot of tradition in other sports, of course, the band, but everybody knows about football. The late Eddie Robinson as well. So growing up, literally 4 to 5 minutes away from Grambling State Football Stadium, I've been able to go to every single game.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Parents, mom worked at Grambling State. So, of course, we got the ticket discounts every season. So, it was nothing. Every Saturday, if Grambling State had a home football game, I was there. I was in the
black. In the hole.
Yeah, we was in the hole, in the black and gold. And, of course, the tailgate and the whole experience. So, I was caught on it at a young age. Thanks to my brother, thanks to my family, my daddy. But again, like I said, from there on, man, I just enjoyed the game and want to, be more involved in it. Of course, I played it. And then I said, of course, if I couldn't make it to the NFL for myself, I want to become a coach. So that way I can give the tools and provide the student athletes nowadays the opportunity to make it there. So
no, that's interesting. So, I mean, because a lot of people may have played, but there's, and there's a lot of people who say, man, I want to go coach, right? But what was it for you that made you say, man, I want to stay around this game regardless of whether I'm playing on the field or not?
So my dad was a coach. My brother was a coach. They was actually basketball coaches.
Okay.
I know for me, again, I got to Grambling my freshman year, was a preferred walk-on there. Didn't play at all. I had a lot of injuries going on. I played running back, fullback when at the time in 2012. And like I said, that year I hung up my cleats. I said, man, I can't do it anymore. Too many injuries getting the best of me. So I said, I can't be a football player and make it to the league, man. I wanted to be able to develop as a coach and try to be one of the best coaches that I can be. And then, like I said, just kind of, mentor younger guys, guys that I know, again, that was already playing football. I was still able to, lean on them and say, hey, try to get some words of advice of, hey, man, I know I'm not playing football, but what can you instill in me to help me become a better coach? And so from there on, man, I took it on full force. And like I said, now I've been coaching college football for 9 years. So
wow.
It's been a blessing.
That's crazy, right? You know what I'm saying? And still a young guy, right? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But yet been coaching that long on a collegiate level, right? You know what I'm saying? On a D1 collegiate level at that. And so that's really a big thing, man. And that's a shouts out to you for going out there and seeking those individuals who could put you on that path. Because a lot of times people would be more standoffish, or, some people have that mentality like, man, I got to do it on my own, right? Yeah. You know what I mean? And so the fact that you recognize early, like, man, listen, I'm around people who got knowledge. Why not lean in and tap into that knowledge? And I know one guy, obviously, who was there at the time when you were Grambling, talk about Broderick Fobbs, right? You know what I'm saying? Who is a great coach and is right, man, in multiple places. What are some things you were able to learn there as you were assistant, you know what I'm saying, on that Grambling staff from Broderick Fobbs, or even from some other even positional coaches, et cetera, you know what I'm saying, that maybe we don't know about specifically?
Yes, sir. Again, Broderick Fobbs was a great man. Not a great coach, not a great person, but a great man in general. And that made him great at everything else that he did. I thank him for the opportunity that he gave me to get my feet wet, to start me off young. And one thing that I learned from Coach Fobbs and the many other guys like Coach Dooley, who was the OC at the time, Coach Terrence Graves, who's at Southern head coach now. He was at Grambling as well.
Graves at Grambling then?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah. So, again, I learned from all those guys. But one thing they taught me was, as a young coach, was to be available. And when I say be available, meaning wherever you need it around this place, be available. Whether it's, talking to recruits, whether it's, doing something extra for any coaches that may need help, doing anything from special teams to offense to defense. I started on the offense side of the ball, and I was a running back at the time. And like I said, I was all offense. Being around some defensive coaches, man, they help, train me to become a safety coach to this day. And like I said, man, just being available, anything that need to be done around the office. If you can't find anybody else to do it, man, find Ryan Burton. He'll get it done for you.
And listen, that availability is valuable because I know that obviously people would see that and tap into say, hey, man, this is somebody I want to pour into, right? Because I see, this young man going around and making himself available. I think that's a key, right? For many people out there, right? College students that are watching, even us as adults, that's important, right? Make yourself available wherever you are. That's going to broaden the opportunity for you to be able to tap in, right? To networking, right? When you're not just, and I think that's like almost a secret, right? You know what I mean? Because people think network and think first and foremost, like, man, I'm gonna go to get somebody and try to figure out what they can do for me. Right. Instead of figuring out like, man, what can I provide for this individual? And obviously there's going to be some reciprocation on the other end, man. What was it that helped you learn that early on in your life and experience in college? Was that a specific moment in time? Was that something that your father poured into you or your brother? Like, what was it that kind of gave you that mindset?
I come from a family of hard workers. Mom and dad was hard workers, multiple jobs, multiple streams of income. Dad seen him cut grass, wash cars. He was a principal. He was a coach. So as he was a coach at a small school as well. So he had to do everything, as being a basketball coach, wash jerseys, equipment, you name it. He had to be available as well as my brother. So of course, just those guys instilled that into me. And I knew from jump, if I want to make it in this business, of course, I want to know the right people, build those relationships, but I got to be available. Like I said, coach called me all the time, hey, Burton, I need you to do this. Hey, Burton, I need you to do that. If I'm doing something for myself, guess what? I'm putting it down. I'm going to do what coach tell me to do, get it done, make sure I do it the right way. And then whenever I'm finished, I come back and do what I need to do for myself. But again, man, that's one thing that I've still to this day like to go by, just being available, even on Coach Bubba's staff, Bubba McDowell, being available. If he needs something done or needs somebody to do anything, hey, he can always call Ron Burton and he gonna try to get it done the best of his ability.
That's what's up, man. That's big. Where's your dad coach at?
So he was a high school coach at Duboc, Louisiana. I don't know.
Duboc.
Yeah.
We got it in with Duboc back in the day. We got it in with Duboc back in the day.
He was a basketball coach. Again, he did that for several years. And of course, when I was born, he ended up going into administration, got into coaching. Got into assistant principal and things of that nature. But like I said, man, during that time, man, I've learned a lot from my dad. Even growing up playing our part basketball, football, my dad was always my coach. So again, I've had plenty of times where, they're spending the extra quality time with my dad and getting the fundamentals of different things. He taught me well.
That's big, man. It's so hilarious when you said it because, man, that's my dad, right? Police chief, right? Captain, right? You know what I'm saying? But he was our high school coach throughout the years, right? You know what I'm saying? Doing all those multiple things, equipment manager, right? It just sounds so familiar, small school, but the lessons that you learn from just watching them, and sometimes it's like, man, I don't even know if they recognize how much we learn from them, right? From when them doing all those different things. So obviously, man, you spent time at Grambling, grad assistant. One thing you did there as well, right, was you did videography. How did that end up landing on your plate? I know you're a man who make yourself available, right? You know what I'm saying? So how did that land on your plate, and how did you get involved in the video side of things?
So originally, like I said, in 2012, I went to Grambling as a preferred walk-on, ended up stopping because of injuries. And again, I wanted to be a part of the game. And so one of the coaches ended up calling me and asked me again, hey, I know you quit. I know you put the cleats down. So, you want to be involved. And I was like, yes, sir. And he said, I got an opportunity for you. And this is in 2013. He told me to come back up to the office and he asked me, you know how to work a video recorder? I said, yes, sir. He said, turn it on. And I ended up turning the camera on. He said, "You got the job." And then from there,
that's hilarious.
yeah. So from there on, man, he taught me, of course, the ins and out of watching film and uploading film and film and practicing. And those are the small things that people take for granted. A lot of coaches probably didn't go down that road, but I did. And I'm so blessed to go down that road because it opened opportunities for me today to be at Prairie View. And like still to this day, I'm still working with film. I'm still working with media as well. So, it's been able to put me in positions that, again, like I said, I'm so thankful for.
Yeah. And that's the reason I want to ask you, because obviously I know, and talking with, Color Day, right, Janarius, some of the other guys, right, I'm saying, and the ladies that's around the program. I know they always talk about, hey, man, Coach Burton, like, that's the one that we connect with when we talk about, the football and the media. So talk a little bit about that, man, and just, being able to work with, some of these students, right, that's putting out some excellent work, and also the students who aren't on necessarily the more creative side, right, of things in the football media, right? But like you say, the important work of like, listen, we need you to get every angle of this play so that we ready, so we can coach these guys up day in and day out and make them ready to go. So talk a little bit about that too.
So, again, in 2018, when I first got to Prairie View, Coach Dooley was the head coach. Of course, he brought me on staff. That was one of my duties that he gave me. I came in as an offensive analyst at the time and then video coordinator. So at that time, I had to kind of gather some students, of course, who was already here on staff. And then I had to go get some more students on campus to be a part of our program and just understand how important video was to the football team. Get them to understand that, like, you guys are needed. This position is needed on the team. And like I said, from there on, I was able to build a foundation. I came across many students, put students in different internships to this day. Had one of my students to work for the Rangers, had one of my students to work for the Seattle Seahawks.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So again, getting these students involved who actually love to do media. And again, just opening and broadening their range of not just doing, commercials and different things as far as with PV, but okay, how can I take pictures and do video for the football team and end up, in the NFL or the MLB or, NBA. So again, allowing those student athletes to, again, I had a student athlete as well to stop playing football for us. And then he wanted to be a video person for me as well. So I ended up training him. And now, like I said, right now, he's actually a high school coach in New Orleans right now. One of his titles is video coordinator. So again, just being able to establish that at Prairie View, and I've been doing so well with it. And my kids, they've been helping me out so much. I can't thank them enough for all the help they've been giving me.
No, that's big. And so I asked you that, right, because we had Marquise on recently, who's up in Minnesota. And one of the things that came out of that conversation that, he hammered home and just made such an excellent point on was the fact that, listen, everybody wants to go to the NFL, but they only think about going to the NFL on the field. They don't realize that, man, people go to the NFL in administration. They go as a staff member. They go as somebody who takes care of equipment or somebody that takes care of the field, et cetera, right? Like, there's so many different ways that you can get here and get paid, right, and make a good living and still be a part of this NFL experience. And so when you talk about even this, young student athlete who an opportunity opens up for him to coach, because also he has this ability to oversee the video department. And we live in 2024, by the way. Like, if you don't understand, video important, period. All right, period. Yes, no matter where you at, it's important at this point in time, right? So it's just showing these opportunities. And one thing we talked a little bit about offline that I want to ask you, because in the white coaching community, right, we see a lot of guys get opportunities and a lot of guys who are coaching who never played on that specific level, right? They may have played high school ball. They never played in college, right? They never played in college at all, let alone was like a backup or anything. But yet they may be coaching all through college, right? Coordinators, even head coaches, see the same thing in NFL. But when it comes to black coaches, we don't see that same thing, right? We don't see those same opportunities. If you coach in the NFL, you played in the NFL, right? If you coaching in college, like, you played in college, right? You know what I'm saying? So talk a little bit about that, right? As somebody who came in as a walk-on and now you're making your perusal through, through coaching on the college level for 9 years. You know what I'm saying? how important it is the lessons you've learned, and maybe what could you tell somebody else that's right now saying, man, I don't physically have the ability to play on a college level, but man, my goal is to become a college head coach or a coach of an NFL. What were some things that you may let them know?
First thing, like I always said, be available. All right, be available and be open. Be open to different opportunities that life presents to you. Yes, I understand there might be an opportunity out there that you really, really want to do, but that it might not be open for you at the moment. So it might be another job or another opportunity that might be open, something you might not truly want to do, but just to get your foot in the door. Just to get your foot in the door, just to start building that relationships that you need to build in order to be a college football coach. Put you in situations to where, hey, now I'm in the locker room with other guys. I'm in the locker room with other athletes. I'm in the building with other coaches that have been around different universities on different professional levels. And now guess what? Once I built that relationship with that person, you never know who they might can reach out to for your behalf. As long as you just do a really, really good job at what you're doing. And like I said, for me, I tell my guys all the time, add value to yourself. The reason why I say that, because guys is going to the league now, of course, you got your Power 5, Power 4 guys, and you got your mid-major guys. So sometimes HBCU guys don't get the best opportunity, right? And I tell my guys, how valuable are you to each of the 32 teams that's in the league? So when I say how valuable are you just a safety? Are you a safety that can play corner? Are you a safety that can play down in the box? Are you a safety that plays special teams? Are you a safety that can do other roles on the team instead of say, hey, I'm going to go get this Power 5 guy who only plays safety, or I'm going to go get this HBCU guy who can play different roles, and wherever I need to plug him in, guess what? He holds value at the position. So as much value as you can bring to yourself as an individual, that's what you got to do.
That's big. Yeah, that's really big right there. And I think that's valuable information. And I hope those who are out there who are listening, right, that you're really grasping hold of what Coach B is saying right now, and revolve to that. And so, let's start to move and transition over, right? So one thing you talked about was being an offensive analyst, right? So now talk about this transition, right? Because you were offensive analyst, right? Mm-hmm. And now you're coaching secondary, right, safeties and nickels. How did that transition come? What made you I guess what made you want to coach, right? A secondary, in those positions.
So again, offensive minded person growing up, played offense. I played a little defense, but offense was my thing. Coming under Coach Dooley at Grambling, he was an offensive minded.
I know that's all offense right there.
Offense, right? So then he brought me to Prairie View in 2018, of course, offense analyst. We're still working assistant with the running backs, right? So my mindset is offense. In 2019, we had an opportunity to be presented. And Coach Dooley talked to me. He said, man, what you think about going to the defense side of the ball? I'm like, nah, Coach. I'm an offensive guy. I'm going to be your head running back coach whenever the time presents itself. That's what I want to do. I stuck on that for a couple of weeks, and he came back and talked to me again. The defensive coordinator, Henry Miller at the time, came and talked to me as well. And, I prayed on it, talked it over with my family, and it was the best opportunity for me at the time. And like I said, I was so close-minded, but I said, let me just think about this. How can this opportunity, impact my future? Yeah. And so 2019, he moved me to the defense side of the ball. I took that position. Coach Bubba McDowell, so he was over the corners at the time, and he was like my mentor when I got to Prairie View. Again, when I got to Prairie View, I was 23 years old. I'm 30 now. So going into my 7th year, Coach Bubba.
7 years.
It's been a great 7 years. He's been able to mold me and be one of my mentors for me, teach me all the skill sets. When I had the nickels and he had the corners, we migrated together. We did our drills together. He made sure I ran certain drills the certain way it was supposed to be ran. And so from there on in 2019 to this day, Coach Bubba still mentors me of how to be a really, 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 really good coach. And like I said, now my mindset is all defense. I just want to be a defensive coach now. I don't want to go back to the offense. That's just the way my mind is processed. So, one day I want to be a defensive coordinator, then be a head coach. But like
that's
I said,
awesome.
That one opportunity of me changing my mindset, right, and say, hey, it's something out there maybe I didn't really want to do, but it put my foot in the door and it opened up bigger blessings for me.
And Kerry says here, an offensive guy can dissect other offenses. That's a good move. You know
Yes,
what I'm
sir.
saying? That's a real good move. And that was one of the questions I was going to ask you about. Kind of obviously got Bubba, who's been there, right? Been in NFL, right? You know what I'm saying, on that level. And now him obviously was coaching PV. So you talked a little bit about that though. So it's dope, right, to have people there. Again, same thing like with Fob, same thing connection you got with Dooley, right? When he was there, Graham, obviously him coming over to PV. And then now, man, the opportunity opens and you got one of the guys who was great, you know what I'm saying, at the position.
Yeah.
Who are able also to coach you up as well as you coach up others. And some of the guys you're being able to touch, man, has done some awesome things, right? Not only here on campus on the hill, right? But also being able to go places. Talk a little bit about some of the former guys who you've had in the building, right? You know what I'm saying, in that Nichols role, right? In those safety spots, right? You know what I mean? Because, you know, some people may not know, may not remember, you know what I'm saying? But talk about some of those guys you've been able to coach up in those positions.
One of my guys that I still stay in contact to this day is Reggie Stubblefield. Of course, he was a Prairie View alum. He was an All-American here for a couple years. Of course, he used his last year to go to Kansas State.
Yeah.
And he was a really, really great player for those guys. He went up there for 1 year, ended up becoming a starter, ended up balling out. But again, right now he's playing in the CFL. He just tore his ACL 2 weeks ago, so he's rehabbing right now. So prayers to him. I know he's going to come back even harder, even stronger. But a great kid, great young man. He was well coached, well respected. And another guy, Drake Cheatham, he was All-American as well. I was able to have a little impact on his position as far as playing safety. Again, another stud. His last year, he went to Kansas State, ended up doing the same thing Reggie did, ended up balling out. You know, I know right now he was an engineer major, so I think he's doing engineering work right now. So again, like I said, those are two guys right now that I know for sure, you know, those guys really perform at a high level. Talking about All-American level. So again, even Darius Campbell at the nickel position. I don't know if you remember, one of the smallest.
I remember that.
One of the smallest guys on the field. But again, I was able to move him and put him in position to be great. And he was a really, really good player for us that allowed us to go to that 2021 championship game against Jackson State.
Yeah, man. Listen, I love the nickel position because I feel like, man, you got to be really, you got to be smart and you got to be feisty. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I just love nickel corners, period. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're my guys, man. And obviously, you know, you got a great guy, right, who's been putting in a lot of work, a lot of snaps right now. But in general, man, just talk about, you know, some of the people you got in the room right now. Obviously, when you look at that safety position, you know, we got two guys who, you know, have left. Obviously, more, right, who played a lot of snaps for us throughout the past few years. He's no longer gonna field this upcoming season. And obviously, I got Shotgun, right. You know, shouts to him, transferred over to Lamar. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully he does great over there. We ain't on the schedule, so we good. You know what I'm saying? We're good right now. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? But obviously, shouts to him, right? So obviously that opens up the position. And I know there were some injuries there, right, that even opened the opportunity, right, for like him to even play a lot more snaps. So talk about some of the guys you got coming back in that room, right? You know what I'm saying? And some of the guys who maybe people aren't aware of, you know, who've been building and who've been learning, right? And are getting to the point where they're going to be able to put in some work on the team, even if it's in minimal snaps this upcoming season.
Yes, sir. So I got a fully loaded room coming back, man.
Oh, yeah, man. I'm excited about this room. Yeah.
Fully loaded. You got Cam Franklin, 6'2.5", 6'3" stud. A lot of people don't know, but we recruited him back in 2021 as a receiver.
Yeah.
He came in as a receiver, tore his Achilles in high school, transitioning from receiver to safety. So he's been doing well for me these past couple of years. I got Bryce Turner, guy from Mississippi. He's been here a while with us. He's one of my veteran guys that I'm leading on to make an impact in my room this year. Stacy Brown, of course, you know about him. Came from Missouri, Dallas native, a really good-looking kid. Has league opportunities as well, based off his what he do this year. Traylon James. I know you know about Traylon. That's Troy James' little brother.
Oh yeah. We dipping back into Louisiana again.
Yeah. One of the best athletes, period, on the team. He played both safety and receiver in high school. So I love guys who play both position, receiver and DB, because again, when it's time to use those ball skills to get interceptions in the air, guess what? Those guys are just like receivers now. We go up and attack the football at the highest point. I got some few walk-on guys that is going to make an impact for me as well. Bryce McDonald. At the nickel position, I got Terrell Coleman, another Mississippi guy.
He feisty. That's the listen.
Feisty. He probably has one of the biggest hearts in my group. Just being honest with you, he's not going to back down from nobody. Jalen Stanford, another Texas guy for me. He's going to do well for me. He's a veteran guy, a leader, guy that when I'm not around, he's going to make sure guys doing what they're supposed to do. And like I said, Mekhi Mercer, he's another guy from Baltimore, Maryland. He's going to be able to make
from B-more. Okay.
Yeah. He's going to make an impact for me as well. And then, of course, I got a steal this past December. Kevin Davis, a transfer out of Northwestern State University. He had a really good spring this past spring ball. Looking for him to come back this fall camp with his head on strong and looking to make an impact as far as trying to get in that starting lineup. But like I said, man, I got a very experienced group this year. I'm looking for my guys to compete and be very, very strong and dominant on the football field.
Yeah, that's dope, man. And that's one thing that I'm seeing from this past spring. It's just like, man, every single room, it seems like, man, the competition is ramping up in each room. And that's what you want, right? Because that's how you make guys better, right? You know what I mean? And thought just came to my head, man. I'm just like, we had Drake, right? We had, Reggie jump over to Kansas State, you know what I'm saying? So we appreciate Kansas State for taking care of our guys. Kansas State, we appreciate you reciprocating as well, right? Because obviously we had Chris Herring jump over here from Kansas State. You know what I'm saying? I know Jay Harris, right? You know what I'm saying? Came to Kansas State. So it's good. Listen, as long as it's reciprocal, we good. All right? You know what I'm saying? So y'all can't be taking, guys at Big 12 and y'all ain't bringing them back here. Okay. I just wanted to drop that real quick, in case y'all listening. All right. But one thing I want to ask you, right, when you talk about the room, right, you talk about all these guys that's competing, that's vying for playing time. How do you as coaches, right, determine and say, man, how are we going to divvy up these snaps, right? You know what I'm saying? Because you look and you say, man, I really got 5-6 guys right now who really could hold it down. So how do you decide, right, who you're going to really we really going to lean on, right, when it comes to the fall? Because that's when that's when it's pressure time, right? You know what I'm saying? And it's not all pretty. It's not practice no more. Like, you really got to get it in. How do you come and start to make those decisions? And how do you guys as positional coaches work with, for example, like Fosselman as a DC in order to make those decisions? Because I think sometimes as fans, right, it's hard to understand, man. We know you got the DC, you got OC Whedon on this side, but hey, man, how does Reggie Moore, work when it comes to, like, man, listen, I've been working with the receivers closely. You know what I'm saying? I know who can do what, right? So how does that work, right, in that kind of working together as co-workers?
So for me, in my position, I tell my guys up front, I'm very honest with them. I said, I love everybody in this room. Everybody in this room can't play. When I say can't play, mean it's impossible for me, right? I got 8 safeties. It's impossible for all 8 safeties to play the safety position throughout the course of a game. All right. So I tell my guys, out of 8 of you guys, 4 of you guys are going to play. All right. For sure, 4 of you guys. That means 2 starters and then 2 guys to relieve those starters, during times get tired or injury, anything it may be. All right. Those other 4 guys, you got to find your way on special teams. You got to do something again, make yourself valuable, right? If I can't be a first 4 in the safety position, then I got to find my way on the kickoff team, the kickoff return team, the punt return team, any type of special teams, so you can travel. Because the worst thing you want to do is be left at PV when we go to Dallas. Go to all corner play all corner. You don't want to be left at PV. So I
on the bus.
Find your way on the bus. But when it comes to finding those top 4 guys for myself, it's pretty easy. I tell my guys, the eye in the sky doesn't lie. And when I say the eye in the sky doesn't lie, I mean that camera, when we turn that camera on, we watching tape. That's why I say that film is so important. When we're watching with every single practice and every single thing that you're doing practice, we look at that as a position coach, at a position staff, as a defensive staff, as a whole staff, and we try to make sure we put in the 4 best guys out there that's going to allow us to win each and every game. And again, I know sometimes those 4 guys can change each week, depending on what they're supposed to be doing. But if you're doing your assignment, you're running to the ball, and you're doing exactly what we asked you to do to the best of your ability, I'm telling that you got to go out there and be the best athlete on every single play, but just do what we asking you to do. If you do that, we ain't gonna have no problem. The eye in the sky doesn't lie. And like I said, I'm very point blank period with my guys. I'll turn on the film and I show them exactly why they're not playing and secrets to why they're not playing. So
right.
And then, like I said, based on our decision with Coach Fossman, of course, the head DC, the head guy, he trusts his staff. He trusts his position coaches to make sure we communicate with him of who's doing well, who's not doing well, who has the opportunity to maybe be a starter this week or not. And he trusts us. And if anything, he sees something different, of course, he's going to elaborate and get our opinion. And then, of course, you got head man Bubba. He former DB himself, he sees a lot of stuff that maybe I don't see or that Coach Rock doesn't see, and he gives his insight on it. But again, at the end of the day, man, one thing I do love about Coach Bubba and I love about Coach Rock, they let us coach. They let us coach. They let us do our job. And then, like I said, from there on, that's how we have a great chemistry. And that's why we've been together so long.
No, that's dope, man. And that's so big. And I want to ask too, because, just thinking about all the different connections of people who, people talk about SWAC hours, right? And so obviously you got SWAC hours, but a lot of coaches in on multiple staffs, right, have SWAC hours, man. What is that experience like in general, right? Because you'll go to A&M, Alabama A&M, right? You'll see a Jackson State guy on the staff, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You might go to Florida A&M, right? It might be a TSU guy on the staff, right? And so you got guys all over, right? You know what I'm saying? How is it going to, for example, like the State Fair Classic? And I know obviously last year we didn't get the job done, but you talking about 5 in a row, you know what I'm saying, before then. How is that like, right? Going there and beating your alma mater, you know what I mean? How does that even work, right? In the family, you know what I'm saying, conversations, man, when you going home.
I'm not gonna lie to you, man. It's the most probably anticipated game in my family. It's definitely fun. I got a lot of family in Dallas, a lot of family. Of course, my parents stay in Grambling. So again, mom still is Grambling, daddy Grambling, brother Grambling. But one thing about it, I will say, when it's State Fair Classic, they cheering for they sibling, they cheering for their son. So that's the best thing about it. I will say they won't wear a Prairie View shirt to the game, right? But I will say they gonna sit on the Prairie View side. So I give them that. But man, it's a blessing, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. With being able to be from Grambling, went to Grambling, and be at Prairie View now. It's a blessing. I love what Prairie View has going on. I love the things that we've been doing over the past going on 7 years since I've been here. And like I said, for that game, man, I tell people all the time that ask me, I said, man, how do you feel about coaching at Prairie View, being from Grambling, your whole family went to Grambling? I said, Prairie View pays for my rent, they pay for my bills, they pay for everything else. So until then, guess what? I'm Prairie View every single day of the week. And that ain't
man, it's crazy because listen, I see it even when we talk about administration wise. I know there's a lot of guys who came through PV who get paid by TSU. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So it's just so interesting just to think about it, right, and see it on the field. And just talk, man. I know obviously this fall coming up, we're excited. You know what I mean? Like we getting the fan base excited. Talk a little bit about the defense. Last year, obviously, we kind of up and down a little bit, right? You know what I'm saying? So you got the game against UAPB where it's like, listen, you gave up nothing, right? You know what I'm saying? Then you have other games, right, when it's like, a lot of yards gave up, but you guys kind of stiffen in the red zone. Talk a little bit about, just week in and week out, for example, right? Guys looking at the stats and saying, man, we gave up a lot this week. How do you keep guys composed first and foremost so that they don't allow 1 week to turn into 2-3 losses?
So how we do as a staff, to be honest, which I know last year, of course, didn't go exactly how we wanted to. Of course, we went to the championship game. We wanted to win it. It was still a blessing to be there. I know last year we had a lot of plug and play. From that 2022 team, we missed out on a lot. Dante Carter, Troy, Kevin Victorian, Desmond Obi. We missed out on a lot. Trayshawn Smith, a lot of guys. And so when we brought in the transfers and the newcomers, of course, we didn't have a lot of time for them to gel, right? We went into straight fall camp, straight into the season, and we still wasn't gelling how we wanted to as a staff. I feel this year is a lot different because now we got most of the defense is coming back, right? We had a few new pieces here and there. But I think this year, these guys are gelling a lot better than they did last year. I see it across campus. I see it in the classroom. I see it in the weight room. I see it on the football field. I see it in the group message. These guys are starting to really become a family. That's the first thing first. Just knowing, these guys having the same like-minded mentality of, hey, this is my brother. Wherever he does, I'm going with him, whether he's going to get extra work on the football field, in the weight room, whatever the case may be. Those guys are really on it this summer. And then, like I said, even coming to the fall, man, just understanding, man, it's one play at a time.
Yeah.
One play at a time. Do your job. We always say do your 111, right? And win this play. And we'll think about the next play after this one. But for right now, let's do your job, do your 111 on this play, and let's see what happens. But like I said, football is about momentum and ups and downs. You're gonna have it going on from the first quarter to the fourth quarter. All right, just don't bend. We talk about adversity all the time. Just don't bend, don't break.
Yeah.
Right. We don't want. I know some people say we'll bend, but don't break. I don't want to bend or break. I want to stay calm the whole way through, whether there's a high, whether there's a low, whether things going our way or not. Don't bend, don't break. Just stay calm, and everything's gonna work out in our nature because we built for this.
No, that I feel you on that, and I think even when I looked at it, I say, man, really, I could see toward the end of the year. I'm saying I see it looks like they're starting to gel a little bit more. And I said this specifically about the defensive line. I'm like, man, I can tell right that they're starting to like come together, right?
Yeah.
It's starting to look a lot different. And so I know a lot of people, they look and say, well, man, listen, I look at last year and it's like who have they brought in? What have they added? But I'm like, man, it's something about continuity too. It's something about having the same guys in the room who understand, and it's starting to snap. It's like, okay, I get the concept you're trying to help me to understand, right? I get why you want me to be in this specific position on this specific type of play, or when the receiver sets up this way. And I think there's something to that's going to help this defense to take a different step this year. I really feel like in the spring, I saw a lot, and I'm like, listen, I'm excited about the defense right now and what's formulating together, man. And so, even when you talk about the front seven, man, when they do their job better up front, listen, it makes it easier on the back end anyway, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So I know y'all are excited every time y'all say, "Oh, okay, yes, sir. How you doing?"
Yeah.
Oh my God, yes. Oh, big man, yes. Come on in, right? So I know it makes you guys' job easier on the back end. But talk about goals, right? That's one question I asked Coach Jonas as well about the D-line room, about goals specific they have for this year. For you, right, in your room, are there any specific goals that you guys set for individual players, or even just as a room in general, saying, okay, this is what we want to look to do, this year in the fall?
In my room, it's really two goals. It's two goals. First goal is to graduate. All right, that's the first goal. If you're not taking care of business in the classroom, obviously you can't take care of business on the football field. So
that's facts.
Graduation. I graduated back in December. I graduated 4 guys in December, and 3 of them came back to go to grad school. So that's a blessing for those guys to uphold. The second thing, to be honest with you, since I've been here at Prairie View, I've been to 2 SWAC championship games in 2021 and in 2023. It's only one goal, is just to go back and win it all. Win the SWAC championship, not just the West. All right, we've been doing that. We good with that, but we want to win the SWAC championship, and then of course give us a berth to the Celebration Bowl so we can go to Atlanta and bring the Hill with us and try to win there. But first off, we got to take care of SWAC. We got to win the SWAC championship game. So that's it. If we win the SWAC championship game, that means obviously as individuals in my room, that means you're doing something that you're supposed to do. Catching interceptions, whether it's making the right tackles, the right plays, the right checks. You're doing something well to win the SWAC championship game. So everything else gonna fall in line. We just gotta win it.
I like listen, and one thing that I'm liking, right, is I can tell that you guys are on the same page, right? You know what I'm saying? Because no matter who I'm talking to, whether it's players in multiple different rooms, whether it's different coaches, everybody's saying the same thing. Like, listen, there's only one thing we're trying to do. I don't care about all the chatter. I don't care what everybody else talking about. Listen, this is the goal. All right. This is the goal. And Coach Burton, I'm happy you saying it, because I'm trying to help PV Nation to understand what the goal is, right? You know what I'm saying? Because one thing I believe, right, is like you can't hit a goal that you don't have. It just don't make sense, right? you can't aim at something and get it if you never aimed at it in the first place. So you gotta have the goal in front of you.
Yep.
Because how else you gonna do it, right? This is a life lesson, the principle, by the way. Y'all need to write that down, take a picture. You know what I'm saying? So some of y'all need to make some goals out here, right? That's gonna stretch y'all a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Watching. But so I'm happy to hear all you guys talk about that. Even when I, talk with some of the transfers, like, listen, they got the same mindset, right? I know Dante talked about CJ Presley hitting him up and saying, listen,
yeah,
this is what we trying to do, okay? So if you entering in, this is what it is, right? Mm-hmm. So, man, super excited about that. I did have a last question, man, because listen, I know you already said one thing, but you seen the show, all right?
Yeah.
And we big check, right? I don't know if you know, but we big check writers over here. You know what I'm saying? We got it to cash. So what's your big check that you writing this year, 2024, man? Let us know.
My big check that I'm writing is, man, as Prairie View football, man, we're going to give you guys a show. We're going to make sure that we go out and compete every single game, no matter who's our opponent. It doesn't matter. We're going to try to make sure that we go out and give our fans, our supporters, the Hill, Prairie View Nation, PV Nation, we're going to go out and make sure that as coaches, we get these guys prepared every single day to be successful on Saturdays. And then our players as well, make sure that they're pouring in and giving everything they got each day to be successful on Saturday. That's what it's all about. And again, like I said before, Prairie View, man, it's a great institution, a great place to be. It's the reason why I've been here 7 years. So it's been nothing but a blessing, man. And like I said, what we want to do is, I know it's been a while, but man, we want to get back and win the SWAC championship game. It's been a long time coming. But I know we're there. We're punching the door down, but we just this time we gotta just really kick that door down. Yeah. So that's the check I'm writing, man.
Hey, listen. Hey, listen. Let me translate that. AKA BTA Tour 2024. All right, BTA Tour 2024. All right, that's what he said. That's a short version. All right, that's a short version. I said you ain't got to say it. I know. I got you.
Yes, sir.
I got you. You ain't got to say it. Because Carlos in here talking real reckless. Okay?
August 31st, baby. August 31st.
Listen, he talking real reckless, but it's okay. All right, you know what I'm saying? Listen, I think he thought it was a basketball game coming up, but we still football season is coming. All right, it's not basketball season, Carlos. It's still football season right now. But man, Coach B, man, we appreciate you for jumping on, man, and for sharing with us. Obviously, we appreciate your journey as well, man, and super excited to see where this journey takes you. Obviously, talked about, your goal of being a DC, goal of one day being a head coach, man. So super excited to see where the Lord takes you in your journey, man, and hope for much success. Hopefully, whenever you get those positions, that success don't end up, coming to bite us. But we do want you to be successful. I'm just being truthful. Okay, you know what I'm saying? So
I appreciate the love, man.
It's all love, though. It's all love, man. You know what I mean? So I appreciate you for jumping on the show. My 318 brother.
Yes, sir.
My 318 brother. But
want to tell you too, man, I appreciate you for, just all the love you've been giving to our student athletes, our coaches, man. This is one of my, really, I'm a HBCU podcast guy. I watch all you guys, but this right here, man, is special because, again, we haven't had this. And so for you put our players and our coaches on the pedestal to reach out and just, get our minds and our thoughts out there, man. I appreciate you 100.
Hey, man, I appreciate you, man. And for all y'all that don't know, man, listen, all 2024, you know what I'm saying? Listen, if you don't understand what's going to happen this year. Oh, they here. All right? They here. Listen, they here. All right? They here. And I know Coach B probably even know Tez, you know what I'm saying? Tez from my hometown, by the way, Monroe.
Oh, yeah.
All right? Listen.
I coached the man that played against him. Yeah.
Now, listen, I ain't see that video, all this stuff. Me and Whedon were just having a conversation. That's how it happened, okay? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But listen, I heard your little video, all right? But it's still why not PV, though, okay? All right? It's still why not PV, though. So with that being said, man, hey, I appreciate all y'all for joining. If you have not subscribed to the channel, man, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and like the video, man, so we can share this out. Carlos, we appreciate you for jumping on, man. We got to get you on in basketball season. We just going to ignore you for football because I know you're going to be hiding. But, baby, basketball season, get you on to talk about some stuff y'all might be doing, you know what I'm saying, over there in Third Ward. You know what I'm saying? But until then, man, next time, we'll holler at y'all.